y'all, it's Chris and Tammy with Collard Valley Cooks. Today we're making such a delicious breakfast casserole. It's called a Fireman's breakfast casserole, and boy is it good with our Swaggerty sausage. Let's get started. All right, I've started with half my onion. I have cut off not the root side, the other side, and you want to keep the root side on so that it clings to each other. And then when you cut it, you want to kind of cut it at a diagonal down the onion, and that way you don't have to make a slice through the middle. You know, you don't have to go this direction. If you do the diagonal cut, chop it. And then when you get to the end, I'll show you how you cut the rest of it up. That's all there is to it. Today, we are going to be using some Swaggerty Farm premium sausage, and this is their seasoned mild sausage. And this is a pound of sausage, and we're going to brown it up. All right, we have browned our sausage. I'm going to add a little bit of butter to it. And it's just all going in the casserole, okay? And then we're gonna add our peppers and onion to it. And we're going to let these onions and peppers cook inside the sausage and butter for a few minutes while we prepare the bottom part of our casserole. So you wanna brown your sausage first and then cook these onions and peppers in your sausage with some butter. Now, of course, if you're making this for kids, you can leave the peppers out or the onions or cut them really tiny. But this is a Fireman's casserole, so these are for grown people. You can also add some mushrooms to it. I didn't have any mushrooms, but if you have some fresh mushrooms, you could cook them in here, or even canned mushrooms, you could drain them and put them in here too. So whatever you like, or whatever you want to add to your breakfast casserole, you ought to do that. All right, we're going to spray the bottom of a 13 by 9 pan, and we're going to crack 12 eggs into it. Yes, this is a lot, and you can always have the recipe and make it in a 9 by 9 square pan. So you're going to crack all 12 eggs into the bottom. And I'm hoping this cooks up and I can slice it, but I haven't made this before. It's a recipe I thought would be really good with our Swaggerty sausage. And so we'll see how it serves up when it gets done, coming out of the oven. All right, now you're gonna take a fork and you're gonna bust the yellows. And it says you can just lightly scramble them if you want to. I think I'll do that. Just lightly. See how it's doing. I think it's what goes in next. Looks good, doesn't it? That looks like a good breakfast. Now we're gonna put a cup of cream on top of it. Now you can use a heavy whipping cream, a whole milk if that's what you got. I'm using half and half. I think half and half is a good medium choice. It's actually half heavy whipping cream mixed with half whole milk, and that's why it's called half and half. So it's kind of like you're putting a little bit of both in there, and it's a nice combo. You're going to need a whole pound of cheese, and remember, a lot of these packages you're picking up today at the store are only 8 ounces. You're going to need a pound of cheese, so you're going to need 2 of those packages or 1 pound bag. And it calls for cheddar. I don't have any, I'm all out, so I'm using what I got. I'm using a Mexican blend. So of course, use what you got. Right now, groceries are too expensive not to. So if you picked up Mexican blend thinking that's what you were gonna make something with, then you use what you got. And now we're gonna put our sausage and onion on top of the cheese. And just kind of scrape it out a little bit at a time and try to get it in there evenly. So if you're a fireman and it's time for you to do breakfast, I'm sure y'all got some really good recipes that you like to use. But you should give Swaggerty sausage a try too with this Fireman's casserole. And remember, we added butter to that, so it looks a little greasy going in, but it's butter. And we all know we like butter on our eggs, right? It says you can salt and pepper it, so I guess we'll do that right quick. Just a little salt. And cheese is salty, so if you don't want to add the extra salt, you don't have to. And just a little pepper. And if you just want to pepper the eggs at the bottom before you start, that's fine too. Just put a little pepper on it. All right, now we're just going to top it with the rest of the cheese, and we're going to get it in the oven and bake it. That's a lot of cheese going in here. Really, I shouldn't have put any more salt in it. So remember that. I kind of doubt it even would have needed any salt with this much cheese in it. We're going to bake this at 350 degrees for an hour. So let's get this in the oven. We'll see you guys in an hour. We'll see how good it sets up. I'm hoping that I can cut it into squares, because then we can slide it into the freezer and have it for breakfasts. We'll see. See you in a few minutes. All right, our casserole is done. It's nice and toasty brown, bubbly. I'll pick this one up and let you see it in the middle. You can see the layers. It's smoking hot. I'm Tammy, and the cameraman is my husband, Chris. And this is Collard Valley Cooks, where we cook like our mamas did. Today, we're getting a delicious, bubbly, cheesy, hash brown sausage casserole out of the oven, and I'm going to show you how to make it. We're going to start browning our hash browns and our sausage. Now, browning the hash browns is optional, but I think it's much tastier if you brown your hash browns. And why not brown these two things while you're prepping everything else? That's what we're going to do today. And today we're using our favorite Swaggerty sausage. This is the all-natural sage, and boy is it delicious. Now you can use a hot sausage if you like a little pep. And I'm going to use a little pepper jack cheese today, which will give it a little bit of a kick. So you can do whatever you want. Now we're using mostly cheddar, but we're also going to use some pepper jack. Now, if you're wondering why I'm using this on the counter, it's because we're not getting our kitchen redone until September, and it is really hard to see and work over there. And it's easy for me to work on one counter. So until we get our kitchen remodeled, you may see me working out here. It's really dark over there on that side of the kitchen as well. At least we do have a light above this bar. Now we're going to use a stick of butter to brown our hash browns in. That's going to make the casserole taste better as well. If you do not brown your hash browns first, then just melt some butter and pour into your hash browns when you put them in the bottom of the casserole dish. Now, I had a couple of people ask us about this electric eye. It is not an induction burner. It's just a regular electric burner. And it doesn't get real hot. You can see how big it is. It's not real big. So you can't cook something in a really large pan on top of it. All right, so here we go. We're going to start chopping this up with our meat chopper. And then once we drop those hash browns and salt and pepper those, we'll start chopping up some of our onion. We're going to put a little onion in this. So for our hash browns, you need to thaw your hash browns. All I did is thaw them in the microwave, but you can thaw them overnight in the refrigerator if you want to. Now these are still really cold, so it's going to take these a while to cook. And I'm going to cook them probably in 2 batches. I'll butter these and won't butter the other ones. We'll use oil for the other ones if we need to. You might can start your other bag of hash browns in your sausage skillet once that sausage is done too. All right. We're gonna chop a little onion. We're just gonna chop this, and I'm gonna chop it thin. So just chop up about, that's probably almost a half cup or so, at least a half cup of chopped onion. I'm just gonna slide this over right here, and we're gonna grate our cheese while this is cooking. We'll go ahead and stir this again. I think I'm gonna get me a lid and put on my hash browns so they'll get hot quicker. All right, we put a lid on these hash browns, trying to get them a little warmer quicker. And now we're going to grate some delicious cheese. So I have got just Kraft mild cheddar. We're going to grate all of it, and then I'm just going to grate a little bit of pepper jack as well. We love Swaggerty sausage, and there's nothing better than a good hash brown casserole with some good sausage in it. If you haven't tried it yet, I urge you to try it because it's just simply delicious. Now you can make this ahead of time and then bake it the next day. Now we're going to grate a little bit of the pepper jack. So this is the pepper jack. We're just putting this in there for a little spice. Instead of putting peppers in here, using a little pepper jack. Saves you a step. I'm going to scoot it over a little bit, add the onion on this side and let it saute. You can see that Swaggerty sausage doesn't have a lot of grease in it. It's not real greasy. And so most of the time I don't even drain it when I'm using it in a recipe because that's barely enough to brown or saute my onion. Got a little cheese in there. It's according to how many people you're feeding, whether or not you would have used 9 eggs or 12 eggs. Today we're using 9, okay? So we're going to use 9 eggs and a cup of milk. I'm going to go ahead and crack the eggs one at a time. And we have fresh eggs from our own chickens. So some are smaller or bigger than others. There's 9 eggs. I'm going to add, this is half and half. If you don't have half and half, you can use half whipping cream, half regular milk. And if you don't have that, just use milk, okay? That's a cup. And you can still just use the cup even if you're using 12 eggs. Now you're just going to beat things up good. This is my blending fork I use for my biscuits. All right, I think these are good and brown and ready to go in the bottom of our dish. We're going to go ahead and brown the rest of them, but these with all the butter are going to go on the bottom, and that way they sure won't stick when you go to lift out a piece of casserole for somebody. So I could have done a half a stick of butter for each section that I fried, or if you got a big skillet, you could have fried all of them at one time with a stick of butter. Either way, the stick of butter's in there, and the hash browns are in there, and we're going to brown some more. All right, this set of hash browns, the second part, we didn't add the butter to, so they look different. You can tell they're not as greasy as these, and they don't brown quite as good either. I put in just a little bit of olive oil. So you can use cooking oil, olive oil, whatever you want to use. And then we're just going to move these around until they're about evenly spaced. and our casserole. So just get them kind of even. Looks good. Now, one thing that me and Chris were talking about a few minutes ago is I'm not really going by recipe. I'm just putting this together this morning. And we're not going to add any more salt to this because I salted the first set of potatoes and that was salted butter. Our sausage will already be salty and the cheese is super salty. So I'm not going to salt the eggs. I think it's going to be good just like this without any more salt. Okay, you can always add a little pepper if you want to. Now the next thing I'm going to put in is my onion, because to me onion's super delicious with potatoes. So you just want to sprinkle your onion across your potatoes. Boy, it smells so good already. And then we're going to go ahead and get our sausage in here. I'm just going to spread it out. I'm going to pour it in and spread it out. So here's our sausage layer. Y'all tell me if you put something special in your hash brown breakfast casserole. Our most special ingredient, of course, is the Swaggerty sausage. All right? And our farm fresh eggs. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take the eggs and cream and we're going to pour these over the top. Of that, and that's what's going to bind it all together. So you're going to want to really make sure that it's in there about equal. And now we're going to add the cheese. That's more so you want that out of the room. Pepper jack. And the great thing about cooking your hash browns the way we did it is everything in here is already done except for the eggs. So it really just needs to cook long enough to set these eggs. And that way it doesn't have to stay in the stove as long as it would have if we had not cooked our hash browns. So our cooking time, instead of it being 40 minutes, like most of these casseroles would take, our cooking time will easily be 30 minutes. So it's going to take at least 10 minutes off of the cooking. All right, there's our casserole. We're going to get it in the oven, cook it at 350 degrees for 30 minutes. Now, if you don't brown your hash browns first, and you're going to let them cook in the stove, I personally would lay the butter down in the bottom of the pan, then the hash browns, and that way that butter will help them get brown a little bit on the bottom. And then I would cook them 40 minutes. And that's what I do different. You might want to check on it and make sure your cheese ain't going to get too brown too. I don't think it will. All right. So we'll see you in a little while when this is done. It's going to be delicious. All right. We're going to get out this delicious breakfast casserole. It looks amazing. It smells so good. The whole house smells so good, y'all. Looks good. Hey y'all, it's Chris and Tammy with Collard Valley Cooks. Chris is gonna cook today.
Everybody's here, so I'm cooking for a crowd. So I'm gonna call this the People's Casserole. The People's Breakfast Casserole. Because it's for all the people that are here today. So get ready for the People's Breakfast Casserole. That's hard to say, the People's Breakfast Casserole. People's Breakfast Casserole. Say it fast and get ready. Now, we got these frozen hash browns. I believe these were from Costco. And it says you can cook them in the oven on 425 for like 10 minutes, or you can fry them for about 3 minutes, or you can put them in the air fryer at about 400 for about 10 minutes. So I'm going to air fry a bunch of these good looking. I got about 7 of these that I'm going to air fry. And we're going to use those, try to get them crispy a little bit, and use them in this casserole. Okay, while that's frying up, all right, 7 of those guys frying up. I'm going to cut up this onion. Somebody has done some weird stuff with this onion. Wonder who that was. It's already been kind of cut. Guys, not only do we have a bunch of people here, we've got a bunch of animals. Our daughters have got 2 or 3 cats apiece. So we got the cats here today. We got cats. They're all over the house. They all act like they're wild and don't want to have anything to do with you. This is a pretty big onion. So I would say this would be the equivalent of 1 small or 1 medium onion. Okay, I want to cut these up fairly fine. These are really going to be good. These smell really good to me. If you like the smell of onions, which I do. I do. And it is the people's casserole. So you want to give the people what they want. Give the people what they want. Now, Tammy has chopped up a bunch of bell peppers, sweet peppers. They're all different colors, so that's going to be really pretty in there. I have 7 eggs, 7 or 8 eggs. If you want to know the exact number, it is 7 or 8 eggs, exactly, okay? Let's get us out a nice bowl right here. Let's put it right here. Move you guys over a little bit. All right, so I'm going to take this 7 or 8 eggs. I'm going to put, let's say, about half a cup, 3/4 of a cup of milk in there. How about that? 3/4 of a cup. Somewhere in that neighborhood. All right, I just checked on the hash browns. And they are looking pretty good. All right. I might add 1 more egg to this. I think I will. Let's add another egg. Make it 7 or 8 eggs, approximately. I just want to make sure for all these people in this casserole for the people that there's enough for all the people. And I want a good bit of air and stuff in this. I'll do this again here in a minute. Let's throw these onions in there. Let's dump in about maybe half a cup, 3/4 of a cup. Exactly half or 3/4 of these pretty peppers. Let's stir all this up really nice. It's about like making an omelet, guys. Y'all know what I'm forgetting? Right now, as we speak, the sausage. I need to make some sausage. That was almost an absolute disaster. Almost an absolute disaster. So we got our Swaggerty sausage. I even have the Swaggerty's apron on today. You would think that would remind me of what I need to be doing. I'm scatterbrained today. I'm scatterbrained today. All right, there's some sausage. Let's turn that on. Turn it up. Turn it loose. Right there. Let's fry this sausage up. I'm going to kind of grind it up so it's in smaller pieces. I've got my eggs prepped, and we got our hash browns frying in the air fryer right now. Okay. So while all that's going on, I can clean up over here. I can put my dishes up, and this thing will come together pretty quick once I get it out of here. Let's look at these hash browns and see what they look like right now. Okay, I had some of them stood up and they fell over, and I think they could use a little more crunch. So let's cook them about another 3 or 4 minutes. Okay, hash browns looking good, nice and crunchy. Of course, they're going to lose some of that crunch in the casserole, but at least they start off crunchy. All right, let's look at that delicious Swaggerty's sausage. That's the best. It's the best, in my opinion. Which is the one that counts, since I'm making this. My opinion is the one that counts. So when you make it, get your favorite sausage. But if you hadn't tried this, I'd try it. Okay, that sausage is pretty much done. Let's put this thing together. Okay, this is the casserole dish. I'm going to spray it. I know the hash browns are probably kind of greasy, but just in case, I'm going to spray it. And we always spray stuff over the sink to be safe. So these have cooled off a little bit so I can handle them. They're nice big hash browns, aren't they? Okay. So let's split these up like that, and let's cover things up pretty good down here on the bottom. Okay, let's put on the bottom a layer of cheese. I'm just using Mexican style cheese. So I'm just going to kind of dump some out here. And I'm going to spread it out with my hands. I don't like to put my hands in the cheese, because then the cheese goes bad. So you don't want to let anybody catch you putting your hands in that cheese. Now, how much is this? I would say, in my estimation, a good cup. All right, so there's your cheese. Now, The next thing I'm going to put on here are these eggs, peppers, and onions. Now, I did not put in any salt and pepper. It shouldn't need a whole bunch of salt. So let's put in 3 healthy pinches of salt. And let's put in 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 regular pinches of pepper, 4 regular pinches of pepper. All right, let's kind of beat a little air into this. Beat the devil out of it. Yeah, we had that tropical storm come through here where we live. Now we're supposed to still get some more rain. I think right where I lived, we got about 4 inches of rain yesterday in our neighborhood. But of course, other places got a whole lot more than that. All right, gonna pour that out. Sausage. And you can see Swaggerty's sausage does not have much grease, hardly any at all. So I'm just going to kind of dump it out there. This was 7 sausage patties. Okay, I'm going to use my hands. I'm going to kind of spread this around. A little touch, a little dab, do you? Okay, let's take our last hash brown and let's take it and sprinkle it around just a little bit for the people, just a touch. Just a touch. Just like that. All right, let's wash off our greasy hands. Yeah, that hash brown's pretty greasy. I probably didn't need to spray the bottom, but you know, better safe than sorry. All right, and let's just put just a little bit more cheese on here. Just enough to kind of color it up. Come on. Y'all know I really want to put my hand in there. I really do. Oh, Lordy. Okay. So that would be, let's say, half a cup of cheese. I mean, we can say whatever we want to. Doesn't make it true, but we can say it. All right, now. I feel like it might need a touch more pepper. So just on the top here, a couple more pinches of pepper. Now I'm going to put this in the oven at let's do 375 and see how long this takes. And in the meantime, while that's baking, I can clean this mess up. I really don't have much of a mess. I got a pan. I got the air fryer. I got to put my cheese up, my salt and pepper up, and I washed everything else while it was wet. So this has worked out pretty good. It's not a big mess. I don't like cooking with a big mess, and I don't like to leave a big mess. So we'll see how long this takes.
Now we turned it up a little bit so those eggs would fluff up a little bit.
60 minutes, 375, and 375, and we turned the convection on at the end for a little bit.
So you want your eggs to be done. It don't need to be runny when you cut into it. If you cut into it and the eggs start running out of it, you know it's not done. Put it back in there. But that's how it should look. See how it looks? It's all set up.
Looks pretty good.
Looks delish.
And,
so it's got hash browns on the bottom
that
you browned.
It's probably going to be pretty hot. Don't want to get burnt along with your
that's
grease.
good. To me, this is better than our fireman's casserole.
No way.
Yes, it is. It's got a lot of flavor from the peppers, I guess. And those hash browns are really good in it. Mm-hmm.
Well, we've been waiting long enough to eat it. I thought it'd be done pretty quick. I've been having to wait for an hour. So
It's delicious.
we're starving.
Delicious. Chris did a good job, and I can eat my leftover biscuits